Yeah, welcome to the open book, where truth don't hide, stories ride, and every chapter got that power. Turn the page, now you stepping in, where real ones talk and the fake pretend. From viral heat to deep convo, we write the truth, let the whole world know. This ain't just a channel, it's a movement. The open book, every story, every voice.
Welcome to the Open Book. This is your host, Lakeisha. I hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful Friday so far. Okay, y'all, I said let's kick off with a little drunken love because that's what these women work. Okay. Come on now with Beyonce pulling us through this morning. I can't look, I wanted to play the full song, but baby, YouTube, they will shut it down. Okay. I used to could get away with it. They won't let me get away with the music that much anymore because I'm on a fine line when it comes to the little warnings with the music. We used to have whole nights. Y'all know some of y'all were here. We would have our music nice, baby. YouTube was like, look, okay, we're trying to give you some grace. Get it together. You can't be just playing the music like that for hours. Okay, let's see who we have here. Make sure y'all tap that like button. Let everyone know we are live. Okay. Welcome, Honey Drip. Thank you for joining, sis, and thank you for being first in the building. Hey, Latte, welcome. Good morning. She said she's going to have to catch the replay. Okay, sis, I understand. Thank you so much. Hey, Jay Thomas, good morning. She said, good morning, OB. We are our sister's keeper. Justice for Romika. Yes, okay, I totally agree. It's a good day for some justice. Come on now for Romika. Hey, Becca, good morning. Thank you for joining, sis. Hey, the highest point. Good morning to you, beautiful queen, TGIF. And thank you for tapping in last night. Y'all, if you did not catch last night's live, okay, make sure y'all go back later, excuse me, and watch the replay because it was a powerful word from God on last night. So make sure y'all tap in. Also, y'all, on this evening, we are having a special giveaway. Now, because we reached the goal last night, I'm going to do an extra prize on tonight. So make sure that y'all tap in later on this evening. I am going to put up a flyer with the time and so forth. So make sure y'all come on back. We are going to give away some prizes on tonight. Hey, my sis, Shelly Shells is up early today. Hey, sis. Look, this 2 days in a row. I feel special. Okay. Good morning, sis. Let's see. Hey, honey, 5K Gangsta is in the building. Welcome, sis. Thank you for joining. Now, also, let me just make this disclaimer. I had a comment yesterday, and I replied to it with all due respect. And they were just saying, they weren't being disrespectful, like they loved the commentary and the chat and so forth. But they were kind of, wondering, why do I speak to people at the beginning of my live? Okay, I think I've gotten better. Okay, Dreamy Girl gave me some constructive feedback on that. I think I've gotten a little better because I do cut it off. But like I said, I like to develop a rapport with my supporters. Okay. I want it to be like, I see you. Sometimes you go to chat, y'all, and you speak to the content creator or you speak to the chat and no one speaks back. Okay, no one. So you like, okay, it's so cold sometimes in here. Okay, but I like to make people feel welcome. That's my natural gifting as well, hospitality. Okay, so it's something that comes across natural for me. And also, I do that until I'm ready to start. Okay, you giving people time to get in and things like that. And so I just want to be welcoming. Now, I used to go for, 5 minutes trying to call out everybody, okay? Stopping my live, speaking. So then I have to say, okay, we've done that. Let me just kind of speak to some people or everybody that's coming in. Welcome, so I'm getting better. I'm actually getting better, but at the same time, this is how I roll over here, okay? I like to make people feel welcome. All right. Hi, Miss Mabel. Welcome, Grand Rising, Empress Awaken. And if you're watching a replay and you don't want to hear the welcomes, you can always like fast forward through that part. That's just a little word of advice as well. Okay. Right, Shelly? Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, it's with respect. I left it there. Okay. And then the mods, they do such an awesome job. Like if I miss something, because sometimes I'm on another screen or things like that. So I may not see certain things. And so, they're good about welcoming people, thanking people, and so forth. So shout out to the mods also. Okay. Good morning, Miss Lysandra. Welcome. All right, y'all. So we are in part 3 of this thing. Okay. And we talked yesterday. If you didn't see part 2, make sure you tap in because we showed like the first part of this video, okay, with Latasha Daniels. Y'all laugh. Hey, I'm serious. Okay, baby, fast forward, especially if you're on a replay. Do y'all think I go and sit and watch every part of a replay? Nope. whatever catches my attention, child, that's what I watch. I say, do I want to see this part? No, I fast forward. So please just fast forward. Okay, fast forward. Yo, Shani, welcome. So watch that replay from yesterday, okay, to get the first part of this video. Now, the part that we are at, and we have like 20 more minutes of it today, is the police arrived. Okay, the police arrived at this house. Now, y'all, I don't know if they're gonna get into the whole arrest thing, but baby, she didn't go down easy. Okay, they had to take her, they had to shoot her. I haven't watched this last part, so I'm gonna see how much they give of it. But baby, they had to shoot her, take her to the hospital. She trying to fight police. She didn't go down easy, but what you gotta understand, and I hope little Miss Hollyween thinks about this as well. Deadly actions have sometimes severe consequences. Okay, don't forget to vote in the poll as well. Thinking about some things we talked about yesterday and some things that we're going to watch on today. Do you think that Latasha Daniels should have been charged with first-degree murder? Okay, some of the things that we discussed yesterday as far as her having this gun on her. Now, her original intent, as she stated, was for her to unalive herself. Okay, but as she was going to that park, she decided to get on the freeway and head to Memphis, which is a 2.5-hour drive. Okay, because she wanted to meet up with him to see, hear it from him in person as to why he was breaking up with her. He sent her a disappearing text message breaking up with her. She wasn't happy with that. So they met up at a lounge. Now, consider all of this time, okay? Them meeting up at the lounge. She has this gun still on her. She never left it in the car. So then he said, okay, we're gonna tell my wife all of this. You go to the house first. Now, why are you sending this lady ahead of you? No, y'all go, we going together. Okay, because now you sending me over there. What am I supposed to say? So she's sitting there just chatting it up with the wife. Here he comes. He ignoring it. He working his way, not making eye contact, not even addressing it. She gets upset. Okay, she's about to leave and she snaps. Everything goes black. She's standing in the doorway at one point, and then she says she's in the kitchen at another point over his body. And as she was shooting him, she was saying, "You broke my heart. You broke my heart." Okay. And she shot the wife because the wife was in the way trying to help her husband. She told her to get back, but she did shoot her, once. Okay. So the wife goes and runs to go call 911. I'm just trying to catch some of you up. And then the wife, this is the part I didn't understand, because child, I would have been at safety, hoping and praying that he was okay, waiting on the police. She goes back to the house, to their apartment. I don't know why this woman has a whole gun. Now, one similarity that we were trying to, kind of talk through yesterday, because even with Halloween, they stated, the witnesses said she went to the side of her vehicle, the passenger side, to get her gun. Remember? Okay. Now, then you have the accounts of people saying that the gun was on her. So I started thinking to myself as I was listening to this, And thinking back, Halloween had on a black jacket. Okay, she had on the green tracksuit and she had on a black jacket. Now, one thing that I thought about is maybe both parties are correct. Okay, maybe, and I'm just thinking this through, she did go to the passenger side of her vehicle and then get the weapon and put it inside of her jacket because this lady too was wearing a jacket. Now remember, Halloween had on a jacket with the pockets, okay? So you could slip a gun in there and have your hand in your pockets, okay? Now look, you putting it all up in your pocket like that and stuff like that, look, there's still time to think this thing through. This lady had plenty of time in between. Okay. Hey, Anomaly, welcome. Hi, Missy Lang. They had plenty of time in between. Okay. She's made a whole drive, Latasha Daniels. You'd have made a 2.5 hour drive. You'd have went to a whole lounge. You'd have sat up here and talked to the wife. Okay, Halloween, girl, you done got into an argument. Some have said it was a physical altercation. We're still waiting on video footage. Okay, you done had time to go to the car. You done had time to put it in your pocket or wherever you put it. Some people are saying it was already on you. You had time to think this thing through. The danger was not immediate. That is a point that we've been trying to make. Okay, so let's tap into the latter part of this video to see where does it go from here.
Bit, with the gun. At some point, the gun was reloaded.
So she fired until she ran out of bullets?
Mm-hmm.
Were you ever shot?
I was shot.
Tell me about
Sounds
that. When did
familiar?
that happen? Where were you?
Well, at some point, I got on the...
This lady shot until she ran out of bullets. Now, at some point, she reloaded her weapon. Halloween shot until the gun jammed. Okay, she would have kept probably going. I don't know if she would have reloaded or not. And welcome, Terry. Also, let me say that this live is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is covered under the Fair Use Act. Information shared is alleged in our opinions as we react to various topics and people.
Ground, and I can't remember if I got on the ground immediately, but I was on the ground and I was kind of hovering over him, kind of in my mind. I'm like, let me cover his head, so he doesn't get shot anymore. And, she was yelling at me to move, and I wouldn't move. So I got shot.
Who's ready to hatch some cool pets? Click here to make your
Police arrived at Meridian Park Apartments around 10:20 p.m. When they got there, Brodus was on the living room floor with gunshot wounds to his head and torso. Tabitha had made it outside. Neighbors were helping her. Latosha was still inside the apartment, holding the weapon. Officers ordered her to drop the gun. She didn't. They used a less lethal round. She dropped it, and officers took her into custody. Brodus was transported to the hospital. He didn't survive. At the hospital, Latosha tried to run. She shoved an officer and took off through the hallways. Officers tackled her, forced her into handcuffs while she fought back. 3 more charges: assault on officers, attempted escape, resisting arrest. She was taken to jail. No.
Okay, y'all, that's a hot mess. Okay. Now, they took him to the hospital and he succumbed to his injuries, okay? Then, with her, she didn't want to go to jail, okay? So she takes off running. The police have to chase her. When I read one report, they had to shoot her as well, okay? And tackled her to the ground. See, everybody's big and bad in the moment, okay? Everyone's big and bad, laughing, thinking stuff is funny, thinking that this is not. No. When it's time to go down, baby, it's time to go down. Don't run now. Okay, don't run now. So, baby, she had added charges. Then, because of all of that, they did not give her bond. Okay, and someone brought up a good point. When the police on the video that we saw with Halloween, in the glimpse that we had, It looked like she at first was looking like, look, she was putting her arms up like she was trying to do one of Carlos's moves and start flailing like, no, I don't want to go to jail. No. Now, of course, she went ahead and let them put them cuffs on, but sis ain't gonna be ready. Okay? You living life now, posting all your stuff. But what happens when you have to face some consequences for your actions? Okay? Shout out to Frey. Hey, sis. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the super chat. She said, good morning, beautiful. Cheers to the weekend. I know that's right. Yes, and it is the weekend before. Can y'all believe this is the weekend before Thanksgiving week? Lord, it came up fast. Okay? Shout out to you, sis, and thank you for being a sponsor for today's live. Elaine said, I believe Carlos had a pow pow too and given to that lady or girl he handed something to. I think he had one to scare and control Ramika to get in Holly's car. Oh, okay. Now, Elaine, you bring up a great point. Now, we don't know that to be fact. Okay. However, oh, you're okay. Because I do that too sometimes, misspelling words. However, I'm curious to know, like, if he had to go and move his vehicle, did they ever find anything inside of the vehicle pertaining to a weapon? You know what I'm saying? That's a good point, because if he went, depending on the time that he moved it. Now, David Brown has stated that the vehicle was moved in the beginning, okay, to allow Holly time to drive out of there. I mean, we haven't seen any video proof of that yet, but I'm curious to know at what point he, pulled that vehicle up, and was there a weapon on him? Now, looking at his clothes, it would be hard to kind of put a weapon, with what he was wearing on his body. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That's a good point. And I'm curious to know from ballistics and the handling of that weapon, were there fingerprints on the weapon from Carlos? Like, that's something we still don't know either, because y'all already know my thoughts on that, my hypothesis on that part. I don't know it to be fact, but I just, thought that thing through. Like, were her fingerprints the only one on that weapon that was used? The highest point says she had free will. She made her choice. Now she needs to deal with the consequences of her actions, as she should. Okay. Elaine said, I don't trust the police or the two guys that keep defending him. Okay.
Bond. By May 2019, Latasha had a preliminary hearing scheduled. Leslie Ballin, a well-known Memphis defense attorney, was representing her. Tabitha was supposed to testify about what happened that night. The defense waived the hearing. The case went straight to a grand jury. Tabitha didn't have to take the stand. Latasha stayed in custody. No bail was set. Her family and friends showed up to court appearances to support her. During the case, Leslie Ballin withdrew. There was a disagreement about legal strategy. Latasha couldn't afford another private attorney, so the court appointed one. The case sat for years. Latasha was incarcerated from April 2019 through the trial. During that time, according to trial reports, she wrote 2 books.
Now, y'all, look at the difference there. Okay, they took sis into custody. Okay, no bond. And guess what? She didn't get out of jail. Okay, and then she couldn't afford the other attorney, so they had to assign her an attorney. But her trial just took place this year. So she's been in there all of that time. Now, I'm pretty sure that they're going to deduct the time that she sat in there awaiting trial from her sentence. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, she never got out. No bond, no bail. Okay, welcome everyone coming in. Make sure everyone is hitting the like button. Let everyone know we are live. Now, she had time to write 2 books, okay, while she was in jail. She had to sit that out.
One for incarcerated mothers, another for children whose mothers are in jail, trying to help people in similar situations. 6 years passed. The legal reality didn't change. First-degree murder charges. If convicted, life in prison. The trial began in November 2025, 6 years after the shooting. The prosecution argued premeditated murder. Latasha bought a gun the same day she drove to Memphis. She had 2.5 hours to turn around. She didn't. Prosecution presented surveillance footage from the gun store. The timeline, the breakup text. They argued everything Latasha did that day showed intent, planning, a decision to kill because she couldn't handle rejection. The defense argued Latasha had been manipulated by a man in spiritual authority, a pastor who used his counseling role to start a physical relationship with her, a man who knew she had mental health struggles and exploited that vulnerability. The defense pointed to her credentials: doctorate in social work, licensed clinical professional, anger management specialist. Her life's work was helping people heal, not hurting them. The defense argued Pastor Brodus Perry broke her down over 3 years. He told her they'd tell his wife, then never did. He posted loving tributes to Tabitha on social media while texting Latasha privately. He took her money, had her plan his parties, made her play tennis with his wife while carrying on the affair. When Latasha tried to pull away, he'd reel her back in.
Now, y'all, a couple of points I want to make right quick. Now, y'all see when people are serious about an investigation, what happens, okay? Notice they even went back and looked at the footage of the cameras, her buying that gun. And we brought this up yesterday. If y'all didn't see yesterday's live, make sure you look at part 2. We brought this up yesterday. Now, I understand why, and please, whoever came up in here yesterday, please don't come in here with the same stuff, okay, today. But we were talking about with Holly getting that restraining order, right? Because she was in fear. Now, on the restraining order, she did not put the part where she felt that Romika had a weapon. She didn't check that box. Okay. Now, they went back with this lady to look at the timeline of when she purchased it. Okay. What was happening on that day and all of that. They looked into that. And that brought up the question yesterday. Even if Hollywood would have just got the restraining order, what prompted her to get that gun? When did that happen? See, they need to look at the timeline, okay, of when things were happening. Now, the defense was also saying that this man was manipulating her, playing with her mind. He's on social media. Did y'all pick up on that? Giving his wife shout outs, but privately, okay, talking to Latasha. That's why with Carlos, we've been saying, what was he telling both women? Okay, because we're seeing you on social media with Romika. You're taking the family pictures. You're dressing alike. But then behind closed doors, what were you telling Holly? Okay, I want to know, what were you saying to her? Because see, a lot of people I'm noticing will try to take the blame and attention off of him, but focusing more on Romika. He is the man in the middle and pitting 2 women against each other. Now, this particular case with Latasha, I don't think it was that situation where the wife knew about Latasha. Latasha knew about the wife. Okay. She seemed okay with sharing him with the wife. She just didn't want to share him with other women, which is weird thinking, in my opinion, on that part. Okay. Right. Respectfully. Okay. Miss Elaine said men lie every day. Why would she believe that? She wanted it to go differently with this man. See, she had been through 2 divorces, this lady here, Latasha. So she's had her heart broken before. She had even contemplated committing suicide, okay, right before one of her divorces. She was looking for love. She really did not even have a great relationship, it seems, with her mom. Okay, she was looking for validation. She was looking for love. This man played mind games. Now, I'm not discounting the consequences that she needs to face because of her actions. However, some of this played a part in the decision that she made. Okay. Shout out to Anomaly for the super chat. She said, the lack of self-control will land you in jail or the grave. People better wake up. Okay. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for that, sis. And I totally agree. Okay. And thank you for being a sponsor for today's live. I totally agree with that. Okay. You have to understand. Now, this lady here, Latasha, she was helping people through anger management. She was an anger management specialist, but you could not contain your own anger and know how to work through that process in your mind. Okay. That is something to think about, y'all. We have counselors out here doing the most behind closed doors in their real lives. But then you paying them, your insurance paying them thousands of dollars, and they got you on the couch. And child, they don't even know how to get through it. This is sad. Okay. It's sad. She was a specialist in that. And look what happened. Okay. But yes, the man in the middle, he was playing mind games with her. And check this out. This is something to think about. When she did not do what he wanted her to do, and they talked about this more yesterday, he pulled back. Okay. He didn't want to talk to her. It wasn't until she complied, then he would start giving his love and attention and affection again and having sex with her again. Do we know if Carlos is doing that with Holly? Are they even together now? Okay. What was taking place behind the scenes? This is something to think about.
Intimacy as a weapon, affection when she complied, distance when she didn't. The defense showed the jury videos Brodus had posted online, videos where he talked openly about ethical non-monogamy, having girlfriends in different cities.
Right, Tasha?
The rules for those relationships? They had to be out of town, not in Jacksonville where he was from, not in Little Rock where he lived.
I am at a place now where I want to expand this ethical non-monogamy, and I just, your opinion matters to me because we are in this relationship. But at the same time, like I said from the outset, I want to be respectful, but I also want to let you know that your opinion matters. But at the same time, I don't want you to put me in a box, right? Because while we talk about it in theory, this is now the practice part. And with a tabby perfectly fine with, the situation, because how I've handled and been honest and transparent and open with her with regard to this current relationship, me expanding it is not an issue for me. Basically, she told me, we can talk about it when you think it's worth talking about. But the way that you handle this, I'm fine with not trust your judgment because you haven't given me a reason not to.
The defense argued Brodus presented himself as a man in an open marriage. Latasha believed Tabitha knew about the relationship, that they'd all agreed to this arrangement. When she discovered Tabitha had no idea, it shattered her. Then Latasha took the stand. For hours she answered questions. How the relationship started, what Brodus had told her, the emotional manipulation, the financial exploitation.
Okay, and notice how, and welcome everyone just coming in. Notice also, y'all, that once they talk, because I made this a point as well, I think last week or so, had Romika and Holly actually sat and talked without all of the anger aside, right? They would have probably found out that they had been lied to on certain stuff. They would have found out that they had probably been lied to. See, he was telling her one thing, but then telling the wife really nothing about Latasha. Okay. Pitting her against the wife, trying to get that. And then it goes back to the other lady, the content creator I shared her live. What was it called? Triggering You. I think her channel was called Triggering You. And when she was saying that a lot of these women who are fighting over the men, when you look at the men, they not all that. Okay. Cause baby, sir, okay, and hey, he's deceased right now, so I'm not gonna go in. But I'm just, I, I just had questions, like, oh my goodness. And then have to have, like, you got to question sometimes, why do you have to have so many women having sex with all of these different women? Because she was the only one. Ethical non-monogamy. That means he was in a relationship with his wife. Now, I'm curious to know too. All right. I think the wife kind of had, given him some permission on some of this. Okay. I'm wondering, did she have a thing going on the side? Okay, because they were over the couples ministry. Now, did she know? I don't know if this came out in the trial, and we're gonna kind of tap into some of the statements, with this. But did she know about the fact that he was involved in this ethical non-monogamy? He had a whole book called The Ethical Slut. Okay, so how much did his wife know? I'm curious to know that, because he could have just been saying that to her. Okay. So sometimes when these women actually stop being mad at each other and talk to each other, you will find out both of y'all been deceived. Both of y'all, he been telling both of y'all something different. Okay, Ramika and Carlos was a liar. It was Holly who had no idea what she was dealing with. Hi, Empress Awaken. I don't know if she knew that or not. That's a good point. Okay. I mean, when stuff comes out, she knew of Romika and that he had a child with Romika. She was seeing them on social media. So I'm pretty sure to some degree, she knew that they were still talking. It may not have been in a relationship form. Okay. But she had an idea. It wasn't like Romika was a surprise that day. She knew who she was. Okay. Good morning, Frodo's. Yeah, and this man was a pastor. Okay, but hey, those are the ones that use their power and authority a whole lot, not all. But you have quite a bit of pastors out here that have their influence, they have authority, they have this money, and they use it to lure in men and women. Okay? Yes, men. White testified she knew nothing but right, Frodo's. I agree. I definitely agree. Because I would have asked my husband if he came out with a whole book about an ethical slut, and then you talking about ethical non-monogamy. Sir, what that mean? Okay. I think she did know something. However, though, if she would have said that she knew something, y'all, this thing would have gone a totally different way. Because remember yesterday, this is something I peeped as well. Remember, she said that the lady just popped up. Latasha popped up at her apartment. She looked through the peephole. One question I had was, how did Latasha know where they stayed? Another question is, now this lady lives in a whole different city. She pops up at your door. You open your door. And not only do you open your door, but you let her in and y'all are having a whole conversation. Now, I would have been like, you don't just pop up in my house unannounced. Like, what is it that you need? What are you here for? How do you know where I stay? Okay. That was weird in itself. Let's see. Honey Drip says she knew because she called and said my robe in his closet. Right. Yeah. She knew of her. She knew that, she knew what she was doing. Holly saw pics of Carlos and Ramika every holiday, so she knew. Right. The highest point said sexual intercourse is really a sacred and spiritual act. You are giving someone else permission to enter the course of your spirit. Ooh, that's deep. You have no control of what they might take from or leave there. Ooh, the highest point. Girl, you just went deep with that. Okay, and that is so true. So true.
A hot and cold treatment. She described the March 2019 encounter that left her feeling used and disrespected. The crisis point where she felt worthless. She testified about April 4th, the breakup text, writing the letter to her family, going to the gun store, being in crisis. She said when she met Brodus downtown, he told her they'd finally tell Tabitha together. That's why she went to the apartment, not to hurt anyone, to get the truth out. She testified that when Brodus walked into the apartment and acted like nothing was wrong, she felt betrayed again. One more lie. The prosecution asked directly, did she shoot Brodus Perry? I do not deny it. Did she shoot Tabitha? I don't, but I know it wasn't intentional. She testified she doesn't remember pulling the trigger. She remembers reaching for her keys at the door, then standing in the kitchen. Everything between those moments is blank. During cross-examination, the prosecution went after her.
Now, do y'all believe she went blank? Let me know in the chat. Hi, Trini Batty. Welcome. I believe the wife knew because when Latasha popped up, she sent her husband the surprise. Now, see, this is why I want to get into that. Okay, so why? So why did she send that? See, that's what I'm saying. Because, see, this thing here, it would have probably, this lady probably would have got a little less than second degree, I think. If the wife admitted that she knew something, see, the husband's not here to testify. We don't know what all conversations they've been having behind the scenes. Okay. Now, I think she probably could have gotten a little less than even second degree. If this thing was, she came over here, the husband had said that she was going to come over here. Hey, we don't know. I'm kind of on I want to look deeper into that. I do want to look deeper into that. Be very aware and extremely careful when dealing with these energies. Choose your partners wisely. All it takes is one time for them to take up residency in your temple, right?
Story. She drove 2.5 hours with a gun. She had time to turn around. She made a choice. They brought up the hospital escape attempt. If she was so remorseful, why run? They questioned the memory gap. Convenient, they suggested, that she remembers everything up to pulling the trigger,
right,
but not the shooting itself. The jury heard it all. They had to decide, first-degree murder or something else. The jury deliberated. In November 2025,
can you please just hear me out?
No, all work management platforms are the same.
Monday.com is the one you'll actually...
they reached a verdict.
Good evening, I'm Vinny Politan. Welcome to Closing Arguments, and we begin this Friday night with breaking news. And yes, word in, a verdict has been reached in Tennessee in the case of the pastor who was shot and killed by his girlfriend, Natasha Daniels. His wife, Tabitha, also shot. She survived. The pastor did not. Natasha Daniels charged with first-degree murder, facing the rest of her life in prison. Let's take you inside the courtroom right now as we get ready to hear the jury's verdict. There are some lesser included possibilities here of second-degree murder, manslaughter, criminal reckless homicide. All of those, something that the defense is looking for, because if it's first degree, it is game over for this defendant. The rest of her life, she'll be locked up.
Now, another thing that I thought about with her is she had time to reload, y'all. She had time to reload. And she also told the wife to move out the way. So if you blacked out, how do you reload? How do you tell the wife move? T. Smith said the wife knew, and I'm betting this is not the first relationship like that. He wrote a book, The Wife Was Saving Face. I think so too, T. Smith. I agree with that. Yes, definitely. I believe. You didn't black out. Because, child, now I can see blacking out and you just shoot back to back, and you black out. Okay, and the gun keeps clicking at that point. Now, you can really tell a person blacked out at that time. Okay. Now, if no more bullets come, you're like, oh, shoot, let me go get some more bullets. Okay, child, you have time to think about this. So that part, miss me with that part. Okay. I believe that you were thinking about what you were doing because you were also saying you broke my heart. Okay. As you were shooting. Good morning, that one. Welcome. Okay.
Anything less than first degree, she'll have a chance to get out someday.
Latasha Daniels stood in court as the judge read the counts. Count 1, second-degree murder. Guilty. Count 2, reckless endangerment. Guilty. Count 3, employment of a firearm during a felony. Not guilty. The prosecution had pushed for first-degree murder, premeditation, intent, life in prison. The jury went with second-degree instead. Second-degree murder means the jury believed Latasha killed Brodus Perry, but not that she'd planned it beforehand. The emotional distress, the manipulation, the crisis she was in that day, it was enough to bring the charge down. On Tabitha's shooting, reckless endangerment instead of attempted murder, the jury believed it wasn't intentional. Not every
Now, you know what, y'all, on that jury, ooh, I bet they had some deep conversation, because I agree with them on that part. I don't think her intent was really to, because she could have taken the wife out. If she really wanted to, she could have taken her out. I don't think her problem was with the wife. However, if I was a jury member, I would have argued that I felt that it was she had time to plan this. Okay, she had time, because she bought it to unalive herself. She never went to the place that she said she was going. She got on the road 2.5 hours. You stopped at a place, talked to this man. Okay. Because this was my thinking yesterday. Had he said the wrong thing at that lounge, I believe she would have shot him at the lounge where they met. She had the gun on her, but he gave her hope that, okay, I'm about to tell my wife, okay, meet me at my apartment. And then she's expecting him to go ahead and tell his wife, and that they are going to go on this trip. Okay. Now, after that, because it didn't go the way she thought, he didn't do what he said he was going to do. Now she had the reality of, I think this is over. That's when she decided to shoot him. I truly feel like that, y'all. I really do. I think she had some intent, and I could be wrong. Empress Awakened, she's disagreeing with me. She said she agreed to second degree. Okay. And y'all can disagree with me. I mean, if you have a different point of view, let me know in the chat. I just feel like, if I was a jury member, my thought process on that, I think she did think about doing that to him. She had already thought about doing that to him before. Remember? She had a gun before to take him out. Okay? And he took her gun. So you mean to tell me she didn't think about it this time? If she had already thought about it before, the only thing that stopped her that time, he took it and had sex with her. Then what makes you think this time, when she went to get another gun, traveled there, that she wasn't thinking about going to do that this time? Okay, that one says I agree. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that would have been my thought process. Now, had she, because she's also tried to unalive herself before. Okay. So had she just said, okay, and not done that part with him before, then I could probably say, well, maybe she wasn't. Maybe she was going to try to unalive herself again. But because she's tried to take him out before, I would have gone with the same thinking that, oh, well, child, she was going there to do it again. If he didn't fix it, she would, I'm telling you, in my opinion, she would have taken that man out at the lounge. But he gave her some hope. If he said, I said, this is over, baby, she would have pulled that gun out and shot him right there. Okay. I'm telling you. So, yeah. Sis, in my opinion, went there to do what she did. Okay. Had he changed his mind and said, we're going to live happily ever after, child, she would have left it alone, put that gun somewhere else. No, she had it in her pocket at that. It wasn't in her purse. It was quick access. It was already loaded. Okay. You didn't thought about this. Brandy said, hey, Brandy, depending on how it went, she was going to pew him. Thank you, Brandy. That's what I'm saying right there too. Okay. Depending on how it went, because see, she wasn't satisfied with the disappearing text that he sent. She wasn't satisfied with that part. Okay. So she's like, now, baby, I need to see him in person. Tell us this. Me and this pal. Who over? She said, oh, I got this. Okay. Now what you saying in person? Let's see. Trini said, I believe she had it in her mind that she was going to take him out if it didn't go her way. That's what I'm feeling too. She definitely planned to take him out at the lounge. It was planned out. That's what I'm saying. See, we have no proof of that part, right? But I'm thinking, after hearing the chain of events, hey, Brittany, the chain of events, I'm thinking that had he not said, let's meet in my apartment, she would have done it there. That's just my guess. Okay. We have no proof of that. But because she had the weapon on her, it was already on her in her pocket. It was already loaded. But he told her to meet me at my apartment. When he did not even give her eye contact, he did not mention it. It was finality to her. Her back was against the wall. Okay? Her back was against the wall. This is over. He's not mentioning me. He's not doing what he said he was going to do. This is my chance. I've traveled 2.5 hours here. It got to get done right now. And y'all, I feel like this with the Romika situation, when she made that U-turn and they had already been there, I also have that feeling that they knew it had to get done there. Holly was in town. Okay? She had the gun already. It was already loaded. Like, think about that. Let's see. Let's see here. Brittany, this is the same lady from yesterday, Latasha Daniels. I think they're going to say in a second how many years. I done forgot offhand. Let me see. Trini, I believe she had it in her mind. Did I miss a comment? I thought I read yours. I thought I read it. Was it the one I believe the wife knew? That's the only other one I see above that. And I read that one. Okay. Unless you have something else, maybe I missed it. Or YouTube can hold it and I don't see it over here. Let's see. Shailene said first degree would have been my stance if I was on the jury. Me too. Premeditated. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Tion, welcome. All right, let's continue. Now, wait. I'm looking at this caption. It said not everyone agreed with the verdict. See? Let me rewind that a little because I'm looking at this caption right here.
Jury's verdict. There are some lesser included possibilities here of second-degree murder, manslaughter, criminal reckless homicide. All of those, something that the defense is looking for, because if it's first degree, it is game over for this defendant. The rest of her life, she'll be locked up. Anything less than first degree, she'll have a chance to get out someday.
Latasha Daniels stood in court as the judge read the counts. Count 1, second-degree murder, guilty. Count 2, reckless endangerment, guilty. Count 3, employment of a firearm during a felony, not guilty. The prosecution had pushed for first-degree murder, premeditation, intent, life in prison. The jury went with second degree instead. Second-degree murder means the jury believed Latasha killed Brodus Perry, but not that she'd planned it beforehand. The emotional distress, the manipulation, the crisis she was in that day, it was enough to bring the charge down. On Tabitha's shooting, reckless endangerment instead of attempted murder. The jury believed it wasn't intentional. Not everyone agreed with the verdict.
See? So we look how, y'all, that's a hard decision. That's why I said what I said. Us, we are not even there in the court or on that jury, but look at how we disagree with it. So not everyone agreed that she should have gotten second degree.
A pastor was dead. His wife was shot and traumatized. Latasha had driven across state lines with a loaded gun. That sounds like a plan, but others saw it differently. A pastor who exploited a vulnerable woman he was supposed to help. 3 years of financial and emotional manipulation. A breakup via disappearing text. A woman in crisis who made a devastating choice. Guilty, but not of the highest charge. Her defense attorney spoke to reporters after the verdict. Latasha had been genuinely remorseful from the beginning, he said, not just about Tabitha, but about Brodus too, a weight she carried every day. He pointed out what the jury seemed to recognize. The manipulation and emotional abuse Latasha endured over 3 years had broken her down. Sentencing was scheduled for December 17, 2025. Second-degree murder in Tennessee, 15 to 25 years. Reckless endangerment.
Her sentencing is coming up, y'all, December 17th, right before Christmas. Okay. So she's facing, they say 17 to 25. Hold on. Hold on, let me see.
Been genuinely remorseful from the beginning, he said, not just about Tabitha, but about Brodus too, a weight she carried every day. He pointed out what the jury seemed to recognize. The manipulation and emotional abuse Latasha endured over 3 years had broken her down. Sentencing was scheduled for December 17, 2025. Second-degree murder in Tennessee, 15 to 25 years.
So she's facing, for that alone, the second-degree murder part, 17 to 25 years. Okay, just for that part.
Reckless endangerment, 2 to 4 years. The judge would decide where Latasha fell in those ranges and whether she'd serve the sentences back to back or at the same time.
To testify, tell me what was the things that you guys thought about when you made that decision.
My name is Gwen, and I lost 60 pounds with Barry Endo. It was mainly for my health, the reason why.
There was so much of this story that only Latasha could tell. The police only had so much information, and Tabitha Perry did not have a lot of this information. So there was all of these gaps that there was no explanation for, that Latasha had to be the one to fill in for the jury. But also, she wanted to tell her story to this jury. She wanted them to understand how she felt when this was happening. And that's why we did push for that voluntary manslaughter and the reckless endangerment, because she was under such emotional distress when this happened that she was not thinking clearly.
When you go to sentencing, will you push the fact that she has no criminal record and try and see if you can get, I think it carries 15 to 25 years, will you try and push for the lower end of that due to no criminal record in the past?
Absolutely. So second-degree murder in Tennessee has, for someone with no prior criminal history, has 2 potential ranges of punishment. There's a mitigated range that carries 13.5 years, and then there is a standard range 1 offender for someone with no prior felonies. That carries 15 to 25 years. We will absolutely be arguing that a woman who is 46 years old and has absolutely no criminal history and has done so much to try to better those around her. While she was incarcerated, she wrote a book for incarcerated mothers. She wrote a book for the children of incarcerated mothers.
What y'all think about that? So she has no criminal history, and she's written books to reach out to help other incarcerated moms and the children of, incarcerated moms. That's interesting, because at the sentencing hearing, that is going to play a part. She has no priors, so she may not get the high end of that. And if she can justify, she's had good behavior, she's also served a good amount of time, they probably will deduct that off, the final, and she'll, have that part of time served, and then she just continues the sentence. Shoot, she may can get away with just being in there, possibly with 15 years or so, 15, more years. Someone said it earlier, she lucked out. Okay. Sure. I mean, because she could have been there the rest of her life. Seriously, this is wow.
She has lived her life trying to help people. What happened on April the 4th of 2019 was not the actions that ever would have happened with Latasha Daniels if she was not in that state of distress.
And how is she feeling? I know you guys have probably been able to talk to her. How is she feeling right now?
I mean, go ahead.
I think she's a little bit in shock. I think she's struggling with the idea that she's going to probably have to spend at least another decade in prison. But I think she also understands that, you know, this happened for a reason, and the way she handled her previous incarceration, I think she's going to be fine.
Could that prior prison time count towards?
Oh, absolutely. Whatever jail time she had, jail credit she had built up, that'll count toward the ultimate sentence she'll receive in Division 2.
I know you weren't the original attorney on this, but since you've worked with it, what has it been like as you've worked through it, what you've discovered? Has it been like peeling back an onion, or when you got it, was it really already mostly there? The evidence and the proof.
So like I said, this has been a very unique type of case that we talked to the jury about that day one, in that there's actually a disparity of information in our favor in this case, which is very, very unusual. So a lot of the discovery was not disputed information. Where the dispute came was from the mental state, and that could only come from Latasha.
I think the other big point that needs to be emphasized.
Now, that's a good point that she brought up, because that's what allegedly, you know, one thing that's having the officers scratching their heads on Holly's situation, okay, now this is alleged, is was she truly in fear? Because it's hard to prove when someone's in fear. Now, my thing is, if I was on that jury, would be looking at her actions like right after that happened on the videos, and the things that occurred like right before. If you're in fear, I don't think you would walk over to someone's vehicle and hit on their hood. Okay, the hood of their car, antagonizing, allegedly. I think that would have been one of the main things you would have yelled afterwards, and shown some type of look of fear. Now, with that could be relative, okay? But if I was in fear and I know that I was doing this in self-defense, that would have been one of the first things I would have yelled, even when the cops came up, that she was coming after me. I was in fear for my life. Like, you know, did y'all not see her coming for me? You know what I'm saying? Like, that would have been a part of the conversation. That would have been some of my comeback to the crowd. Okay, but we heard none of that. Even before they charged her, the main thing she said was she had a license to carry, and she was telling them about the restraining order. Okay, so she would have to be the one to explain the fear part. No one else can really do that. Like they said here, this lady was describing her mental state. No one else can describe what was going on in her head but her. So that is a hard part. Now, I do think with this jury, they considered that a lot. Okay? They really took into consideration the mental part that took place with this, as far as him having that mind control over her, manipulation. Now, I don't think that should excuse you from your own actions, especially when you are grown and you knew that this man was married. Okay? I had a friend that I used to work with that was like him. He was overly truthful with women so that they couldn't come back and say, well, you didn't tell me. No, he'd tell them I'm sleeping around. He would tell them I have a girlfriend. Now it's on you. Are you willing to? This guy was telling her that, you know, she just didn't want to hear it or agree to it, but he was still doing it. So certain things, they'll be like overly truthful so it won't come back. Well, you can't say I didn't say it. That's on you if you make a decision to still sleep with me and I have a girlfriend at home. I've already told you that. And I used to get on him like, you think you a player, huh? Like, you up here being a player. These women actually falling for that. It's a strategy. Okay, it's a strategy. That one said, I believe she may get 15 or less. Yeah, I truly don't believe she will do the full sentence at all based on her circumstances. I don't think so either. Empress Awaken said that be Holly was not ain't no fear, not shooting nobody from a distance, and didn't walk up to them, blood all over. I'm just shouting a second time. Okay, come on. Okay. Yeah, all of that plays a part. Yeah, especially if it was at a distance. You see what I'm saying? Like, I could see, baby, you coming up on me, you close on me, and it was at close range. Okay. And I had it in my pocket and pulled it out right quick. Okay. That means you were really, I'm scared. And also, like I said, where does it come into play on any of the reports that Carlos was holding Romika back? The witnesses have already said that. Okay. So she was being held back. Now, something else that I thought about with that too. If you are in fear, right, and you have out your weapon and you're shooting, I just feel this. One of those shots, because baby, that means you just shooting all over the place. Like, you're just trying to, child, one of them shots would have hit Carlos. Okay. I feel like those shots were intentional, very strategic on the target. Okay. All right, girl, because you are definitely a sharpshooter. You didn't hit him in the midst of that, and probably should have, to make it look like at least I was in fear. So you can't go back and do a retake. Okay. Like on Bad Boys. Remember when the guy was holding one of them or something. I think it was Martin or Will Smith. Which one of them got shot? Well, he shot him, okay, to get to the person he was trying to shoot. Y'all know which one I'm talking about. That was a strategy. Okay, I'm gonna have to shoot you. And then, I'm gonna shoot you in the leg. I think he shot Martin. And then he shot the other guy. Okay. Child, you mean to tell me that was a clean shot? You, out of all those bullets that were flying, we still don't know where the third one at. You did not hit Carlos. Okay. He right there in the line of fire. You were strategic in that, in who you hit. Like, seriously.
Sides here is, a lot of times in our society, we only view abuse as physical. And in this case, this really highlighted the mental abuse that she went through with this person that took advantage of her. I mean, he was supposed to be her therapist, and he knew her deepest, darkest secrets, and he used that against her.
Well, hey, little Miss Holly, girl, you better take some notes. Girl, you better talk about how Carlos didn't use you. If you're trying to get some lesser time, girl, I'm just saying, hey, it worked in her favor.
Especially with her being a person that had prior mental health issues.
Attorney Horn, I arrived late and I apologize if this has been asked. Has she spoken to the pastor's wife since the shooting? And if so, what was that conversation like?
I don't think she's ever...
She wouldn't have been legally allowed to. There would have been bond conditions and other court order prohibitions against contact.
Has she expressed any interest in reaching out to her and apologizing or having a conversation with her?
I think that's something that probably will be addressed at sentencing. Mm-hmm. And just knowing Latasha, getting to know her and the person that she is, I'm almost 99% sure that she will write a letter or make statements to Tabitha about her actions and apologizing for her actions. Because even in their banter back and forth, she was, she didn't want to shoot her. She never meant to shoot her, and she was shocked. I think Tabitha was shocked when she was shot.
And Latasha has been genuinely remorseful in all of our communications with her, not just as to Tabitha, but even as to Brodus. This is a weight that she carries every day.
Is she getting mental health therapy in jail, and do you think that therapy is adequate?
She's been out of custody. She has been getting mental health help, and I know that I'm confident that she will continue to get mental health help, and I hope that they offer adequate services, but we won't know until time shows.
Well, I've heard mixed accounts of it. Empress Awakened holding her first, Then in the chokehold when she leaned into the arm, So we've heard various accounts of that. Okay. Yeah, I have heard different accounts, but yeah, that's one account. The witness stated holding her in the chokehold. Then another one said, well, when she was shot, fell over and her head was in that position, the nook of his arm. So look, we need some video footage. Okay. That one said, I said the same thing. Why Carlos wasn't hit? She was far enough to get away because Ramika was not in her space, period. That's what I'm saying. I never understood that part. Never.
Did she spend in jail before the trial?
About 4 years. So she's got a little time under her belt.
Will that count toward the sentence?
Yes.
Time served, you think?
No.
No?
It will count as jail credit, but that will not cover the range of exposure.
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief Executive Officer of Phoenix Energy. I look forward to you joining.
But no amount of good behavior in jail changes what happened on April 4th, 2019. Brodus Perry is gone, 36 years old, third-generation pastor. His family lost a son, a brother, a husband. His congregation lost a pastor. Tabitha Perry survived. She found out her husband had been having an affair while he was being shot in front of her. She was shot herself. She watched him die. Her husband's death and his betrayal happened in the same moment. Watasha Daniels is 46 years old now. At minimum, another decade in prison, possibly 2. Her freedom gone, her career gone, whatever future she might have built. The jury's verdict reflected the complexity.
So she may be out when she's like, she'll still have a good amount of life though. I mean, left, because I mean, what, 56 through 50, 57, 58. So she'll be probably in her late 50s.
Watasha had been manipulated by a pastor who exploited his position. The relationship was toxic from the beginning, but she also drove to Memphis with a gun and took someone's life. Sentencing will determine how long she stays behind bars. The judge will weigh everything: the manipulation, the crime, her lack of prior record, the lives destroyed. Brodus Perry counseled couples about faithfulness while carrying on a 3-year affair. He preached integrity while living a double life. When a vulnerable woman came to him for help, he crossed every line. A man is dead. A woman is traumatized. Another woman is in prison. Families destroyed. A church community shattered. Children without a father. Other children with their mother behind bars. Tabitha Perry lost her husband and discovered his affair while watching him die in front of her. Brodus Perry's family has to reconcile the pastor they knew with the man who carried on a 3-year affair while counseling his congregation. Watasha Daniels faces 15 to 25 years for second-degree murder, 2 to 4 years for reckless endangerment. If she serves the maximum on both, she'll be in her late 60s when released. Sentencing is December 2025. Subscribe and turn on notifications for an update on what the judge decides. I'll see you in the next episode of Crime of Passion.
Okay. Y'all, she will be late 50s to her 60s by the time she gets out. Okay. And that's something to think about. Her family, and even his family, the decisions of the people involved, they don't think about the family members, okay, children that have to now deal with your consequences of your actions. Okay. They don't think about that in the heat of the moment. They don't think about, he wasn't thinking about his church members finding out. He had her going to them getting money. Okay. Almost a scammer. In my opinion, you used her to get the money. Then preaching, and you doing all this stuff behind the scenes. All of that part. So then the church family was hurt. They were confused. Like, what? We up here listening to him on Sundays and blah, 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 blah. We giving money. This woman, she was using her money too. Okay, for him. Buying gifts and parties, putting together. And that was another reason why I felt like the wife knew some stuff. Like, I would have been questioning, who putting this party together? Who is that? Where you getting all this stuff from? Okay. The highest point said, this is what happens when you rebel against God. It's not just reading the word, it's the application of the revelation. You cannot walk with God while holding hands with the devil. Ooh, okay, you better say that. Right, Frodo's generational trauma. Oh my gosh. And him and his wife were over the marriage ministry, okay, the couple's ministry. And look at their marriage, what was taking place. So you have to even be careful, y'all, in some of these churches and the things that take place, in these pastors' lives. Put boundaries in place. I felt like the first meeting that they had, she was coming to him because she had just gotten a divorce. She was hurt. She was crumbled. Okay. She was in a vulnerable state, and he used that. He kissing her in his office and then having sex with her right then during a meeting. No boundaries, no one around. Okay, and then it progressed. Her heart is now invested. And some women do open up their hearts too fast, too soon. First guy we have sex with is good. We like, oh, I'm going to marry him. Okay. You start planning a wedding. All right. Just because you didn't have sex. See, guys can have sex and not get their minds and hearts involved. With women, we're more emotional creatures. We're, starting to get, especially if you're at the stage where you want to get married, then it really becomes hard because he's a nice guy, we're having sex, and stuff like that. I think one day we'll get married. Then later on down the line, nope. Okay. Hey, Tebe, welcome. Nope. So recognize the signs when they're playing games. Okay. The red flags. Don't allow men to manipulate your minds. And that can go for men too. Because it's some women, y'all, it's some women out here that can run some game. Okay. Some of y'all might be on here. Okay. Y'all like, let me put it on the real good. Okay. I'm gonna have them paying my rent, child, buying me clothes, all kind of stuff, knowing you don't want that man. Okay, so baby, you got some women out here and some men. Okay, I'm telling you. So this is sad that it had to go this route. I really feel like it goes back to her just not dealing with a man that's married. Okay. He's not going to commit to you 10 times to 1. Most of these men do not leave their wives for you. Okay. they don't. They're just leave it alone. Don't be a side chick. Okay. And if a man is writing a book talking about he called it an ethical slut. Okay. That's a red flag. Because I still want to know what's in that book. That's crazy. Good morning, Gretchen. Welcome. The highest point said that's because most people think love is a feeling, not understanding. It's an action verb meaning to do. Oh, say that. Okay. Love is an action. Baby, you could tell me you love me all day. That doesn't mean nothing. Okay. Show me. That's my natural with everyone. Okay. People can speak words, but what are your actions stating? Okay. That's what I look at, action. So if he's saying I love you or she's saying I love you, guess what? What are the actions saying? Are you treating me like a dog, but you still coming around saying I love you? Okay. She described something so graphic yesterday. If y'all didn't see the video when she was on the stand, Latasha Daniels, something he did to me, that was assault. Okay. She could have reported him. He could have probably gone to jail. If she really wanted to get him, she could have really gotten him during that incident. It was graphic, okay, of what he did. But see, sometimes it's a test. If you allow me to get away with certain things and you still stay with me, guess what? The test gets harder. They feel that I've embarrassed you, I've humiliated you, and you still want to be with me. They're going to take it to another level, okay? It doesn't get easier. It's going to get worse. Hi, Linda. Welcome. Okay. I'm telling you, Shayla, I'm hearing this morning that some calls were made and Romika's case is still open. Yes. It's definitely still open. And I heard also, y'all, that there was a protest yesterday with Romika's case. There was a protest, some marching still taking place. So the case is still open. And I think even Upper came into Royal D's chat yesterday, and she said that because she lives there, and she said that it was still very much open. Okay, so hopefully, y'all, that this is a good sign, and that they are using this time wisely, and that they are really, really looking into the various parts of this case. See, everything now has to come together: the autopsy report, the toxicology final results, the ballistics report, any witness statements, any video evidence. All of that stuff is now looked at as a whole picture. Okay. So then after that, the state's attorney will decide, charging, if any charges will be brought up or not. If they cannot make a final decision, then it goes to the grand jury to make a decision whether they are going to charge her or not. Now, in either of those events, there should be some legal paperwork. Okay. So if she's being charged, there will be a charging document. If she's not going to be charged, there will also be a document saying that no charges are going to be brought up against her. Okay? So, in any of those decisions, we need to see some paperwork. Okay? Because I'm sick of the just words. Okay, who got access to some paperwork showing that? Now, until that, then it's still open. Okay. I'm telling you, that one girl. Okay. So I want everyone to stop listening to Latch. Okay. Gretchen. Okay. Oh my goodness, right, Shailene? Oh my gosh. Like, child. Okay. Whoever shows the paperwork first, that's who we believe. Whoever can show us that it's a charging document and these are the charges, or she's not being charged and here's the document showing she's not being charged. At this point, that's where we are. Okay, that's where we are. Whether it's going to a grand jury or whether the state is going to pick up the charges. So which one? Where are we? Okay, right now, this is where we are, y'all. Okay. Let's see. Gretchen said, I believe they're really looking into it because they see that people are still calling Romika's name is being said out loud. Yep. Okay. Anomaly said, honey, people don't be who they portray to be, sadly. Okay. Girl, say that again. Hold on, y'all, 1 second. Okay, my apologies. Let's see. Hey, Latrice, welcome. Hey, Latte, I see those eyes. Okay. Latte keeps me on the time. Okay, I am good, girl. Thank you so much. Yes, so that's where we are. We're waiting on that part in this case. Okay. Hopefully we'll know something soon, y'all. I mean, I just want them to do their jobs. I mean, I'm not rushing the process because we just want them to make sure they're doing their job. Actions tell everything. Yes, I agree. Yes, y'all. So later on this evening, I am going to go live again. And we're going to do a giveaway. Okay, so make sure y'all tap in for that giveaway. For those of you who have also been following the Romika case, I may throw a couple of questions in there, okay, to see how well do you know about this case, okay? And then for those that don't follow the Romika case, I'll have another way of giving out a prize. But yes, so make sure y'all tap in on today. Yes, also make sure you tap that like button. And also special shout out to the sponsors, Frey, Anomaly. And was it one more? Oh Lord, because if I don't star it on here, I miss it. And I think it may have been one other person. Y'all forgive me. I didn't star the comment, but all of the sponsors for today's live, thank y'all so much. I really, really appreciate that. And you supporting the channel. Also, make sure that y'all hit the like if you have not subscribed, and go ahead and yes, let's start dropping our hearts in here for Romika. It is still justice for Romika. If y'all have not subscribed, make sure you don't forget to subscribe as well. Today is a good day for some justice for Romika, and we will continue to keep her family lifted up in prayer, especially during the holidays. Y'all make sure you keep them lifted. Also, after the break, Thanksgiving break, I should say, a vacation, whatever, y'all know, the holidays. In December will be our project that we're doing for Romika's son, okay? In getting together and sending him a gift on behalf of the Open Book family. And so be on the lookout for more details. I just wanted to do it after Thanksgiving because I know a lot of people go out of town, they're doing their shopping and their focus is kind of on their family traveling and things like that. So we come back together that next week, we'll start talking about the details of what we'll do and so forth. Okay. But yes, thank y'all so much for the hearts in the chat. And shout out to all of the mods in the building, Latte and Shelly Shells. Thank you, ladies, so much. And also a special shout out to the members who are lit up in green. Oh, and members, y'all may want to be on alert today. Okay, I'm going to pop in with a question. So make sure that y'all are following the alerts. If you want to become a member, all you have to do is click the join button or click the link in the bio section, and you can also become a member. The state of being in love is mood altering. It manifests as a chemical dependency. When the feeling begins to dissipate, it's similar to an addiction and withdrawal. Ooh, highest point. You come up in here with, man, some fire comments, okay? I love that. That is so true. Yes, have an amazing day, everyone. Thank you all so much. Y'all have a blessed Friday. It's almost time for the weekend. Hey.
You just flip through truth with the open book. If you felt that heat, like share and stay locked in. Another chapter done, but we far from finished. Truth on the mic, yeah, we handle business. Real talk, no fluff, just facts and fire. From the book to the block, we taking it higher. The open book, every voice matters, every lie shatters. Catch you next page.